Hey everyone! Today we're talking about something that can literally build bridges between all your school subjects. We're going to turn those separate lessons into one big, awesome problem-solving quest. So let's jump right in. Okay, you know that feeling, right? Math class feels like it's on one island, science is on a totally different one, and language arts? That might as well be on another planet. It's so easy to feel like none of them actually connect. But what if there was a way to build bridges between them? I'm serious. What if you had a tool that could connect what you learn in science with your creative writing, or link your art skills with what you're doing in health class? Well, that tool, that's MYP Design. And listen, this is way more than just another class on your schedule. Think of it as a super tool, a whole new way of thinking that helps you solve actual real-world problems. And the best part, you can use it in literally every subject. So, what is it exactly? To put it simply, MYP Design is all about using your practical and creative thinking skills to solve real problems. It's about looking at something in the world and going, how can I make this better? How could I fix this? And here's something really important to get about MYP Design. Yeah, the final product is cool, but the real magic, that happens in the journey. The focus is all about the process. How you investigate, come up with ideas, build something, and then think about how it went. And to help you on that journey, MYP Design gives you a map. Seriously, think of it like a treasure map for any creative quest you're on. It guides you from, here's a problem, all the way to, here's an amazing solution. And this map, it's called the design cycle. And here it is, the design cycle itself. This shows you the whole path. But notice something. It's a circle, not a straight line. And that's on purpose, because it's a flexible process. You might loop back and forth between these 4 stages, and that's totally okay. It's all about giving you a structure for your thinking. So let's break this down. It's basically 4 stages for your quest. First, you inquire and analyze. You really dig into the problem. Second, you develop ideas. This is the brainstorming part. Third, you actually create the solution. And last but not least, you evaluate it. Did it work? 4 simple steps that you can apply to any project. But here's the secret sauce. It's not always a straight path forward. Like the guide says, solving problems isn't always a linear process. You might get to the creating stage and suddenly realize, whoa, I need to go back and brainstorm some new ideas. And that's not a failure. That's just part of the process. It's exactly how it's supposed to work. Okay, so how does this map actually help us build those bridges we talked about? Let's do a super quick tour and see how this way of thinking can show up in pretty much any classroom you can imagine. We're talking everything from math to individuals and societies. All right, first stop, design plus science. This one's a no-brainer, right? Scientific investigation meets creative solutions. So picture this. The problem is your school cafeteria is just not very eco-friendly. Too much plastic waste. Using the design cycle, you could research the real impact of all that plastic, brainstorm some sustainable options, maybe even design some reusable cutlery, and then create a whole campaign to get the school on board. That's science making a real difference. Okay, let's switch gears completely. How about design plus language and literature? How do you design a story? Well, think about this problem. Maybe your local library just doesn't have enough books with diverse characters. Your design solution? You could create your own. You'd use this cycle to research your audience, little kids, develop your characters and plot, actually write and illustrate the book, and then see what kind of impact it has. That's powerful stuff. And for our last example, let's get active. Let's talk design plus physical and health education. What if the problem you want to solve is just a lack of school spirit? Your design project could be to create a massive flash mob. You'd have to analyze what kind of music and moves get people excited, develop the choreography, create awesome tutorial videos so everybody can learn it, and then you evaluate. Did it work? Did it boost school spirit? See, you're not just making a thing. You're designing an entire experience. So as you can see, design is so much more than just a bunch of projects. Every single time you go through that cycle, you're literally training your brain to think like an innovator. You're building skills that are going to help you, well, everywhere in life. And what's cool is that your design journey totally grows with you. When you start in MYP 1, you'll get guided projects to learn the ropes. By the time you're in MYP 3, you'll be tackling way more complex problems on your own. And in MYP 5, who knows? You could be leading your very own project to solve a huge issue in your community, or even a global one. And this is the real treasure at the end of the map. Through all these projects, you're actually mastering your approaches to learning skills, your ATL skills. We're talking about thinking skills, communication, collaboration, self-management, all the stuff that's absolutely crucial for success, not just in school, but for your whole life. And hey, this process isn't just for fun. It's also how your work gets assessed. It's super straightforward. Each stage of the cycle links directly to one of the 4 assessment criteria. Inquiring and analyzing, that's criterion A. Developing ideas, criterion B. Creating the solution is C, and evaluating is D. See, it's a really clear and logical path from what you do to how it's understood. So there you have it. Design is a process, it's a mindset, and it's an incredibly powerful tool for connecting all the dots in your education. But now, the real question is for you. Because at the end of the day, design isn't about waiting for a teacher to hand you a problem. It gives you the power to look around, find problems for yourself, and gives you the tools to actually create meaningful solutions. It really does transform you from just a learner into an active creator. So whether it's a small thing in your school, a bigger issue in your community, or something you're passionate about halfway across the world, the design cycle is your map. So I'll leave you with this. Take a look around. What problem will you solve first?